Okay, you're listening to TWR Africa, the station that speaks hope to the world. Today we have a very special guest in studio. I'm talking, of course, about Jessica Dalla Torre. Is a wonderful artist, and we would like to introduce some of her music today. So we're going to have a chat with her and see what she has to say about her songs and the background and what it's all about. So let's begin. First of all, thank you so much for coming in, Jessica.
Thank you for having me. It's such a blessing being here with you.
Well, let's talk about your testimony, your background. What can you share with us? Where do you come from? How did it all happen?
So I was born in Johannesburg. My parents are Portuguese, and I grew up in church. My parents served in church for many years, watched them rehearse for band practice and so on. And in the meantime, I married my husband. He's Italian. And so we've got quite a mixture of cultures, but Latin and South African. And we've got a lot of passion in our family.
Well, as I'm hearing this, I'm kind of wanting to ask, how did your parents influence you? What was the fact, the background? Did that have any influence?
Yes, definitely. Well, my grandfather on my mom's side was a pastor. He's actually passed away. And he influenced us quite a lot. He actually baptized me in waters when I was 11. And we had the privilege of him doing our wedding ceremony, which was very special. He always encouraged us, and because we grew up in a Christian home, my dad also was ordained a pastor. And we've been serving throughout the years. So listening to worship music growing up really just planted those seeds at a young age. And I've always loved worship music because we used to listen to it a lot. My dad loved Phil Driscoll and Hillsongs, and so it was always around, and it just carried on growing, and the relationship with Christ just got bigger from a young age. And that's where it started.
That's fantastic. But that's not where you started your career in music industry.
No.
You started with Idols, I believe,
Yes.
and then you recorded a pop rock album. You want to say anything about that?
So when I was growing up, I was very shy. And I used to sing around the house when no one was home, and I used to go into the kitchen, and when my parents were home I used to lock the door and put the hi-fi really high and sing along. But when no one was home I used to go around singing, and my nanny actually told my parents, you need to hear Jessica sing. Every time you guys leave the house, she goes singing around the house, and you really need to ask her to sing for you. So then when I actually got the guts to sing for my family, I started vocal training with Marley Kelly, and then she convinced me to enter Idols in 2005. So then that's where all the passion for the singing career came from. Training properly with Marley Kelly and just being in Idols gave me that boost of confidence to just realize that singing is what I really want to do with my career. And it just blossomed from there. We recorded the pop rock album straight after coming out of Idols. I got to top 24. Thousands of people entered. We stood in queues for hours, overnight. But I learned a lot from the experience. It was nerve-wracking to be on live TV. I sang with a band for the first time. I sang on live TV for the first time. I was 18. It was quite stressful for a young person. But I learned a lot from the experience. Then we recorded the pop rock album with Dennis East. It was just a mixture of fun pop rock songs with Portuguese, Italian, and Spanish. And then I got married. So I had 2 children. I've got 2 girls. Chiara's 10 and Rafaela's 7. And I just realized that my passion is true worship. And I really wanted to write songs, Christian songs. So it's been on my heart for a long time. So I thought, okay, I've had my children, and this is my time to start the Christian album. And then we went to Nashville.
Of course, he went over to Nashville, recorded the album Into Your Heart,
Yes.
working there with Daniel Ornelas.
Yes.
What was that experience like? First of all, the transition over to gospel, and then working with this gentleman from 363. What is that partnership like? The experience. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
So Daniel, we connected with Daniel because his father was at Rhema, and we remembered him from those days, and Pastor Gordon actually connected us. And we spoke on Facebook, and we organized the whole trip. He did a whole week of getting the songwriters together for our sessions, and recording at Omni Studios on Music Row, Nashville. And Daniel's just a pleasure to work with. He's a producer, and he still plays bass on all the Christian tours for Chris Tomlin and Brenton Brown. And he does a lot of bass work as well as producing. And he was amazing on our project. When you listen to the songs, you'll hear. It was an amazing experience to actually just go to Nashville, write with Christian singer-songwriters, connect with different people from another country, and to share the love of worship, because those people that's all they do all day is write worship songs.
It's an amazing experience. I can just imagine.
Yeah.
And you just mentioned that you were part of the writing process.
Yes.
Was there any songs that stood out for you that were really special to you? I believe you mentioned before we started with the interview that You Want My Heart is a very special song to you. And then, of course, Into Your Heart, the main song from the album. Can you tell us more about these songs?
So Into Your Heart, I had a dream. And I dreamt that there was a huge tree, and I could see the roots growing into the heart of Jesus. And as this tree was pumping its blood and energy through this tree, the one side of the tree was flourishing and blossoming. It was accepting the purpose and the blood of Christ. And on the other side of the tree, it was withering and dying because the blood wasn't getting there. It wasn't receiving it. And I just saw that we were all connected, but the people that accepted him fulfilled their purpose and they stretched out, where the other people were still there, but they just weren't accepting it. So that's where the whole idea of Into Your Heart birthed from. I actually drew a picture and I took it to the session when we wrote the song in Nashville, and I said, I really want to write a song about this. And if you look at my logo, it's a heart with the tree and the roots growing in. And it was based on, I saw Ephesians 3:17. Christ will make his home in your heart. As you trust in him, your roots will grow down into God's love and make you strong. So that just tied everything into to what I saw in the dream and what we've put in the logo. And it just turned into such a beautiful song.
That obviously also gave you a bit of extra passion, that dream, and
Yes.
knowing that what you're doing is very significant
Yes.
because of it. So I can imagine that was very passionate time for you as you recorded this. You also mentioned that you really enjoyed recording You Want My Heart. Can you tell me a bit about this song?
So You Want My Heart is like an intimate conversation between you and God. Like if you're struggling to forgive yourself and just letting go and let God take that, and just forgiving yourself and allowing God to work in your life, and that conversation between you and him, and how you just want him to work through you. You Want My Heart is quite an intimate song, so if you listen carefully to it really sounds like a conversation between our struggles and how God wants to save us.
I can just imagine people really benefiting from that song and growing in their spiritual walk. So definitely worth getting the album and listening to these tracks if you're in that place where you need this. So I'll advise, if you're listening right now, make sure that you get your hands on the album Into Your Heart. Now, the Portuguese. Let's talk about that. You have a passion. Your parents are Portuguese, and you also decided to record the album in Portuguese. What was that like?
So I speak Portuguese fluently. We decided to do the album with a bit of a Brazilian accent because we wanted to reach a lot more people. So it was a really fun challenge to try learn the different accent, because it is different from the Portuguese accent, but it's still the same language. And translating the 10 songs, it was a huge challenge to try fit in longer words and to stick to the timing, to learn the accents, and just to reach more people through this. It would be such a blessing to see the Portuguese side of the album grow, because there's so many more people that we can reach with the Portuguese album. There's Angola, Brazil, Mozambique, Cabo Verde, there's plenty Portugal. There's a lot of Portuguese in Goa. So it's been in our heart to try reach both communities, because it is my roots. And it was such a blessing to see the family excited about the Portuguese album.
Absolutely.
And we get to experience both cultures when we sing. I sang in Portugal for 6 weeks of August, and I was blessed to sing both languages. So I sang a lot of the songs in Portuguese and some in English. So we started off with the conference, and we visited 6 churches, and it was awesome to share both.
Yeah, to be able to sing in both languages. Not a lot of people can do that, so I think it's a real blessing to be able to sing in more than one language. Now, one of the reasons, of course, why you do all of this and sing in 2 languages is you're trying to reach out to people. I was thinking about the passion you have for underprivileged people as well as children. You even started a foundation Into Your Heart, I believe, the same as the name of the album and the main track there. So tell us more about this foundation that you started.
So the purpose of the Into Your Heart Foundation is to try visit underprivileged areas and churches, as well as orphanages, old age homes. I go and I sing, I hand out albums and necessities. We visited Miracle Mission in Randburg. It's an orphanage that take in abandoned babies, and they've got 4 fostered older children. So we sang to them. I gave them the Christian album. I even sang some of my kids' songs. And we packaged gifts for each baby and each child, and we supplied them with milk and nappies and snacks for the older kids. And it was just such a blessing to take your gift and supplies and bless the home.
And I'm sure they were pretty excited as they received it. I can just imagine the faces, because I've been in something like that before, and it's a life transformation right there as people see the love and the care that comes their way, and that normally opens the door, I think, for discussion and helping people and getting them to Jesus.
It was a true blessing, because a lot of people donate necessities and food and stuff, but they don't take the time to actually go and do something special at the home and sing. And they were so touched and so shocked that I took out time to go and sing for them. And even the helpers, the assistants that take care of the babies, were in tears. You know, it was so touching to see that those people also need the love of Christ and the attention from others, and, you know, just that whole connection.
I'm just thinking of Jesus right now, who said, you visited me in prison, you visited me in hospital. I think people who are the most in need of this assistance are normally the people who are most open to the gospel. And so that creates opportunity for us to witness and to bring people to Jesus. So really amazing what you're doing, and God bless you for that. Now I know as listeners are listening to this, they might get excited and they want to stay in touch and stay up to date with what you're doing. So can they follow you on social media? Is there a place where they can go if they want more information?
So the easiest way is to go on my website. So it's www.jessica.dallatorre. I'll spell my surname. It's DALLATORRE.com, and you'll see all the links on the website for social media: Facebook, Instagram, my YouTube channel. So if you subscribe and press the bell, you'll get notified every time I upload a new video or a performance or music video, even videos of when we visit homes. So you'll keep updated on what we're doing. You'll see videos as well on the Facebook page. I'm on Twitter. And you'll see all the information on the foundation if you want to donate money, or if you want to purchase any of the merchandise that will give 10% of the proceeds to the foundation.
Fantastic, fantastic. I always like to do this closing an interview, first of all, saying thank you for coming in today. And secondly, do you have any specific message for our listeners today? Is there something you want to say to them?
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. It's always so nice to chat about what we're doing and our purpose. And I just wanted to say that no matter what you're going through, if you're struggling with anything, you might not want to forgive yourself, but Jesus is always there to take your hand. He's always waiting for you to just let him do his work. So you must just hand over to him and completely trust him in everything.
Well, I think that's a very applicable and a very good message. If you're in that place right now, then I hope you were encouraged by this interview and that you'll continue to listen as we will be playing Jessica's music, and enjoy that. And of course, get your hands on that CD, on that album, and be blessed by that as well. So thank you so much, Jessica. Best of luck for the future, and keep on shining for Jesus Christ.
Thank you.